Hey friends, welcome to the second try of this live stream. I hope you guys can hear me now. I'm not sure what was going on earlier. I just tried to do a live stream and I guess you guys couldn't hear me. So thank you so much, Jackie, for telling me that because I'm sitting here talking to myself literally and letting you guys watch it. So if somebody just came in, if you could just let me know if you can hear me, that would be great because I told stories and everything and nobody could hear me. So yeah, I hope everybody had a great week and that you remembered to be kind to yourselves and to each other and that you enjoyed your week. I know for me personally, I had a pretty good week. I got some beautiful weather here in Colorado yesterday and took my child and my husband and my dog to the park, and we did some service dog training. I think it got up to like almost 70 Fahrenheit yesterday. So we did that, and I am so proud because we took Daisy, my lovable mutt, and practiced wheelchair service dog training, and she walked right next to me the whole time. We went about 2 miles and she never left my side. She never got distracted. She didn't pull me over, which we have had happen in training in the past. So I'm just really excited about how well she's doing and overjoyed. For those of you who don't know me, I have a dog. Her name is Daisy, and she is a rescue. And I've had her, we just passed her 3-year adoption anniversary. And when we got her, I wasn't sure that we were going to be able to keep her because she couldn't eat out of a bowl. It was really heartbreaking. She couldn't eat out of a bowl because she was so afraid somebody was going to do something that she would just growl the whole time she was eating. So when we first got her, we had to feed her on a paper towel on the floor, and then she would like bark at my husband anytime he would come into the house or come into the room where I was. And she didn't like being around other people. She couldn't walk on a leash. Like there's so much that she couldn't do. And what seems to have happened is that she had been kept in a crate as a puppy and as a dog. And so she had never really been socialized and she'd never really walked or anything. And so, of course, when I got this dog, it wasn't with the intention of making her a service dog at all, because like I would have never expected her to be a service dog. But then I got sick after we got her, and she started kind of, getting more acclimated to being a part of our family. And I would say after like the first 6 months, she was pretty comfortable. She still had some trouble with the leash. But now that it's been 3 years, and I'm sorry if I get a little emotional, I'm just so proud. She eats out of a bowl, no problem. And she actually will let you, if you put food on her nose, she'll wait to eat it until you tell her that it's okay. And she likes hugs. That's her favorite trick. You say hugs and she'll give you a hug, or mind meld. We put our foreheads together. And she's just the best dog. And sorry guys. Yesterday we took her to the park and I had her leashed to my wheelchair, and she walked with me for 2 miles. And she helped pull me on uphills, and like she provides a stable surface for me when I want to stand up. And she has pulled me out of panic attacks before. She's applied deep pressure when I'm having a flashback, or she's woken me up from night terrors because I have PTSD. And so I just really wanted to share with you guys how amazing this dog is. And if you have never rescued a dog and you want to get a dog, please rescue a dog, because this dog is the best dog that I've ever had in my life. And I've had a lot of dogs and I love them all, and I'm sure I said that about each one of them, but like she really is amazing, and I can't imagine my life without her. But yesterday was like, it's like, you ever have a moment when you're so proud or like you're so happy because you realize how far you've come from someplace, and then you like explode because you're just like so proud of yourself? Or that's how I felt for her. Like I think about the first day that we got her and how she barked at my husband for walking into the house and how she hid from everybody. And then I think about her yesterday. Her tail was up the whole time and she was just determined and walking next to me like she was ready to work. And even when she saw the little dogs that sometimes she confuses for cats and wants to chase after, she didn't get distracted. She like looked at them and then kept walking. And for this dog in particular, who had been so abused at some point in her life, that had been so damaged, to be able to work as a service dog for somebody with a disability in a wheelchair is amazing to me. Like, she's amazing to me. And one of the things that I remember is when we first got her, she was terrible on a leash. Like, she pulls all the time. And now she can walk on a leash and she won't pull when I want her to. So I told her yesterday, I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was your strength. I didn't know I was gonna need you to pull me when I got you. But she's really good at pulling on the leash, so it works out for me when I'm in my wheelchair because she can help pull me up the hills. So that's probably like the biggest highlight of my week as far as like what's bringing me joy. And I mean, it really is. I have so much hope for this relationship with my dog to just keep getting better and better. And I feel, I don't know what the word is for it, but there's a sense of like validation that comes from loving something back to life. You know, she was so scared before, and now she's not anymore. So it looks like I have about 5 people. If you guys want to say hi in the live chat, I would love to hear from you. I'm just kind of going over like the highlights of my week and seeing how everyone is doing. I am crocheting. I will show you what I'm working on. I have it right here in this adorable bag that my mom sent me that says, "Here's a hedgehog." Isn't that cute? So sorry to spend so much time on my dog. I'm so proud of her, you guys. Like, I can't even express it. There aren't words. There are not words for what I feel for that animal. But this is the lark's foot baby blanket that I'm working on. And I am on the border stage now. So the lark's foot part of the pattern is done, and then I'm going to go around the edge with each color, and I'm going to break it up in between with black. So it's going to be a ridiculously wide border, but it's going to be gorgeous, and I'm so excited about it. And that's kind of the only thing I'm working on in crochet right now, because I'm finally like caught up to a point where I can just focus on one thing, and I'm not, sometimes you like get ADD with projects. I'm trying to be disciplined this year and sort of like, like focus on one thing to the end. I don't know about you guys, but I have such a hard time doing that, because as soon as I get about halfway through something, I'll see yarn in my stash, or I'll see a pattern that I want to do, and I get like, I don't know, I can't focus. I got to start a new project. So I have decided that I'm going to limit myself to no more than 3 projects at a time. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to limit myself to how many project bags I have. I just need more project bags, really. So, I have my behemoth dragon of a project that some of you have seen, the Sacred Space blanket, and that one is still not done. Honestly, it's still not done because I broke my 5mm hook, and that was just horribly depressing, but I got 2 new 5mm hooks, so now I can work on it again. And then I'm working on this baby blanket and my sister-in-law's Christmas present. I know, it's March. It's a pocket shawl. I just got so burnt out on Christmas crochet. I told her, I'm like, look, I'm making you something, but you have to wait. And she was like, that's fine. So if you guys are here and you're crocheters, I would love to know what you're working on. I would love to hear what kind of yarn you're in love with. If you're here from the disabled communities that I'm a part of, I would love to hear how you found me. I'd love to hear how your week went. I would love to hear from you guys, really, because at this point I'm just kind of talking to myself, which is fine. I know it's like, honestly, it's not super awkward, but it's a little bit uncomfortable when you go on live, because you can see yourself and you can hear yourself, but unless somebody chats in the live chat, I'm literally just talking to my computer right now. in the last live stream that I did where the sound wasn't working, I was saying that I think it's amazing how Tracy over at Crochet Rocks can just pop on and like be so laid back and so comfortable and just make you feel so at home and at ease with her, because I get on here and I'm like, oh my God, these people can see me. The whole world is watching. I mean, it's 3 people, but I don't know if that's like social anxiety or what, but yeah. So I also would love some feedback about some video ideas that I've been having. I do find lives are a lot easier as far as like I don't have to do any editing, I don't have to do any uploading, I don't have to wait for anything. I was thinking about doing like some herbal classes maybe once a week where we either discuss a method of making an herbal product like a tea or a tincture, or perhaps talking about individual herbs. So like a featured herb each week, like dandelion or aloe or, usnea, just whatever. Those of you who are interested in the herbal side of things, what would you like to see? Because I would be more than happy to do a live talking about herbs, or I could do more video tutorials on how to make things. I'm really interested in what you guys have to say about that as far as the herbal side goes. And I'd also be happy to do like an aromatherapy live as well, because I have a whole bunch of oils. And then as far as crochet goes, if you're here for the crochet stuff, please let me know what you want to see tutorials of, because I have been wondering if I should make beginner tutorials for people that like have never crocheted before and they want to learn, or if I should focus on the more advanced crocheters and do just like specialty stitch tutorials. So whatever you would like to see, let me know. If there's something else you want to see, let me know. If you're here from the disabled community and you want to see more about my eds and how I adapt to life with that, if you want me to do a video of training Daisy, that is something I can do as well. It'll probably just be my husband holding the camera while me and my dog walk at him, but she's doing a really good job and I'm really super proud. My husband did have the idea that I could do like a weekly vlog where it's just like clips of my week and what I've done. And I watch a lot of those videos when people do them. Excuse me, I need to stretch out. My only concern is that I don't know that I'm interesting enough to like, do you really want to see what I do all week? But I realize that that's probably what a lot of people feel like when they do it. So if you would like to see like a weekly update or maybe a monthly vlog where it's just like a whole bunch of stuff strewn together, like the things that I did, the different herbals that I made, the things that I crocheted, like let me know. I can do that as well. And then of course it's going to start getting warmer. Summer is coming, and if you are in Colorado and you have suggestions, please, please, please let me know. I am looking for accessible parks and open spaces where I can easily navigate in my wheelchair, but that have a lot of like flora around the paths. So if you're in Colorado and you know of anywhere, I have a few places in mind, but I would like to know more. I'm hoping this summer to do some accessible weed walks, although I might call them weed rolls or weed. I was going to say weed on wheels, but in Colorado, that's probably not the best thing to call them, because I'd really love to, and I feel very called to make herbalism more accessible. I find that a lot of these classes, and even the school that I went to, there's no way I could have done it in my wheelchair, and I think that people who can't go hike into the woods would still love to learn herbalism, because you can get the herbs and use them at home. And that's something that anybody can do. So if you're interested in seeing more accessible herbalism, let me know, because that's something I feel called to do. I feel like it's important to do, and I would love to do for the disabled community, myself included. But I'm not sure where to start with that. So again, feedback is everything. It's really weird for me having a YouTube channel, because it's not something that I ever thought that I would do. And now I have all these things and people want to hear about them, but I'm just not sure, like what exactly do you want to hear about, I suppose is the question. So as far as herbalism goes, I think I'll definitely have some more outdoor footage here soon because, oh my gosh, it has been so nice out. Yesterday was probably the sunniest, warmest day that we've had in a month, and it wasn't even windy. It was so nice. It was like hoodie weather. And, I think it's supposed to be pretty nice this weekend and into early next week, and then I think it's going to snow again. So that's always fun. But yeah, that's just Colorado for you. Okay, cool. I have 6 people here. So if you guys don't mind saying hello in the live chat, I would love to know who is here and what you guys think about what we're talking about and kind of just get a feel for who's hanging out with me this evening on this wild Saturday evening. As you can tell, my voice is kind of gone. I'm not sick. Well, I don't have a virus. So basically, when I get tired because of my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, the tendons and ligaments and stuff that hold my voice box into place get lazy. And then I just kind of get sort of like gravelly, and you can tell when I'm tired because it gets really bad. I'm hearing it now and I'm like, oh man, I hope they don't mind. I sound like I've got a cold. Excuse me. So, I know I did show you guys on a quick, a couple minute video, the new hooks that I got. And one of them was a replacement for the set that I had already purchased from Olga over at Wood Cozy Workshop on Etsy. She does not sponsor me. I just think she's amazing. And somebody asked me yesterday if I had used them yet, and I haven't. I mean, I haven't because these are both 5mm hooks, like I said. Sorry, I'm not allowed to live stream on my camera yet because I don't have 1,000 followers, so the picture isn't that great a quality. But I have been using my 4mm hook, which is made by the same person from the same type of wood as this one. And so, sorry, I don't have like a full-on review for like the brand new ones, but the questions that I was asked were like, how heavy are they? What's the grip like? Are they slippy, or do they have friction? And what I would say is that when I first got them, they were very slippy. Like at least the cedar ones were very slippy because the varnish was new. But I don't know if you guys can even see this on this camera, honestly. Can you see how the varnish is starting to wear off of this one? So this one I use a lot. I've been using it a ton lately. I'm using it to make that blanket. And where the varnish is worn off, it's not snaggy at all. It's just not as slippy. So to answer the question of like how slippy are they, they're really slippy at first, and then as you use them, they're not quite as slippy. I do think that this one, though, the new one from the rowan wood, is going to be a little bit more grippy because it's not quite as smooth as the cedar ones. And I think that's just the nature of the wood. It's not a workmanship issue because it's beautifully crafted. It's just the wood itself is a little bit more textured, I guess. And so I think that one's going to be really good for like super slick yarns. If you've worked with like Karen Simply Soft or silk yarn, or I can't remember the brand, but there's one made out of banana fiber that was like really slippery. If you use recycled silk, you might want something with a little bit more of a grip. So I would recommend the rowan wood over the cedar wood ones for that. But if you are like me and you work with a lot of, I would recommend the cedar ones for that. But if you're like me and you work with a lot of, acrylic and stuff, I think either one would be fine. I do. I think that you would find it's a preference thing. And the hooks are so cheap, there's no reason not to go buy one. Just go buy one. I give you permission. Go buy yourself a hook. So I'm sorry, I will try and like focus more when I'm using them and like give more of a complete review. I didn't realize that reviews of hooks was something that people on this channel wanted. So if that's something that you want, let me know. Like, let me know what you want to see, because I have no idea what I'm doing. Just no idea what I'm doing. And I do find like sometimes I'll have like an idea and I'll want to make a video about it. And I think it's going to be like a 20-minute video and it turns out to be like 2 minutes. Or I think something's going to be like a minute long video and it turns out to be 30 minutes. So I'm really interested to see like what people are here for, what they would like to see from me, what kinds of ideas they have for future videos. I know several of you watched the video where I talked about my near-death experience, and you might be more interested in my spirituality. If that's something that you're interested in, let me know. I do know that here on YouTube, I think a big portion of my subscribers are Christian, and I know that I lost a few subscribers because of that video. I know, talking about tarot cards, some people vehemently believe that they're like the door to the devil, and whatever you believe, I am not judging you. That's not what I'm here for. I just hope that the people that stay on my channel appreciate that even though my spirituality looks a little bit different than yours might, doesn't mean that I'm evil. I mean, I really don't think that I'm evil. I would have to try pretty hard to become evil. It's just not who I am. That being said, if you are interested in learning more about readings and how I do them, I would absolutely make videos about that. I'm not really sure what I would put in them, but I know a lot of people have questions about how it works. Sorry, I keep saying something that really gets to me though is when people call me like creepy or weird. So if you could just refrain from using those words in the future to the people who have decided to leave not great comments. It's hurtful for no reason. Like, there's no reason for that, so please don't do that. Like, I know I'm weird, and I know that I'm creepy. You don't have to tell me. Like, I've been me my whole life. I am aware. I think it takes, and I'm not saying that I'm a brave person, but I do think it takes, like, a certain level of courage and bravery to come on here and talk about yourself and, like, tell people what you love and what you believe and what you're into, because you open yourself up to like so much judgment. You're vulnerable in this position because you're on camera and everybody's brave behind a keyboard, right? Like, they can say anything they want to. And sorry, I'm readjusting. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If I'm not for you, that's okay. Like, I don't have to be for you. I really don't. I understand. There's like, what is it, like 8 trillion people on the earth now? I don't have to be for all of them. That is okay. But what I don't like, and I hope that you guys, I mean, I know if you're watching, you're probably not the people posting these things. If you could just refrain, from calling me weird or creepy. It's not that you hurt my feelings, because I don't know who you are. It's more that I've heard those words in very hateful situations throughout my whole life, and it's triggering. It brings up a lot of trauma. And if you're the kind of person that feels the need to hurl insults, or, I mean, not even insults, but just to cause somebody pain unnecessarily, I don't want you here anyway. Like, just go. That's not what we're about here. The Woolverine, like, that's not it. Nope, we're about wool, yarn. We're about, herbalism. We're about spirituality. We're about disability. We're about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. We're about what's good on Netflix, but we are not about hurting people for no reason. And I won't accept it. I have blocked a few people already, which I feel like happened really quick, but I guess you're not successful unless you have a few haters, right? So sorry about the rant on that. It's just, anytime that I mention my near-death experience or my spirituality or, tarot cards or anything like that, a lot of times people seem to find that spooky. And I understand. Trust me, it's spooky for me as well. Like, it is. There are times when I will do or say something, and I have no idea that I'm doing or saying anything out of the ordinary. And then later, it will be like, oh my God, this thing. I have a really silly one from today, actually. Let me take a drink of water really quick. Okay, so you guys are going to love this one. Earlier today, I was getting phantom smells. And I don't know if you guys know what phantom smells are, but basically it's like you smell something that's not there. It's like a ghost smell or whatever. But it doesn't necessarily have to do with ghosts. It's not related to the physical world. Now, you can get phantom smells from a neurological disorder. You can get phantom smells for being, I was going to say clairsentient, but that's not what it's called. There's a name for it. If you know the name for it, let me know because I can't remember. But anyway, that's not the point. I was in my room and I was crocheting and I just kept smelling yeast, like the smell of fresh baked bread, right? And it was so strong. I was sure that my husband had the bread machine on or he was making pizza dough or something. I couldn't stop smelling it. And so I called him and I'm like, hey, love, do you have the bread machine on? Like, are you making bread right now? And he's like, no. And I'm like, I keep smelling bread and it is freaking me out. Like, I don't know what's going on. I said, there's no reason for it. And so he goes away and then he comes back a little bit later and he's like, well, I didn't tell you this earlier, but when you called me in here, I was thinking about making bread for pastrami sandwiches. And I'm like, so now the joke is that I can smell his thoughts. And that was it's just such a weird, like, what a weird superpower. Well, like, in what situation is that going to come in handy for me? Like, ever. So I can smell my husband's thoughts, y'all. It's a little crazy. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys have ever had an experience where, like, you do something and then later it's freaky, right? Like, it just turns out like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. That's so spooky. Sometimes, coincidences happen where, like, even though you feel like it's a coincidence, you can't really explain it. I love hearing those stories. I would love to hear your stories. Like, I'm all about it. Tell me. Because it's part of what makes me hate the word weird, because people will throw that word out there like it's not hurtful. And smelling other people's thoughts, admittedly, is a bit weird. But when I hear about other people's stories of, near-death experiences or encounters with, I wouldn't say ghosts, but like, just working with spirit or religious experiences that are transcendent, I love to hear about those things. I want to hear about those things. I want to hear about your experiences because it makes me feel slightly less weird. Like, I know that I'm weird, but like slightly, like almost normal. Well, no, not even almost. It makes me feel acceptable. Like, that I'm not so far out there. When I hear other people's stories, it always provides me like a little bit of comfort, I guess is the best way to put it. So what is everybody up to this Saturday evening? Is it Saturday where you are? It's Saturday here in Colorado. And if you guys are chatting and I'm just missing it, I'm sorry. I don't know why that might be the case. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you guys are here. You all just popped in all at once. So I'm sorry if I have missed this. Let me read and catch up a little bit. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. Okay. Sorry, guys. I didn't see the chat until now. For whatever reason, YouTube was YouTubing. So, let's see. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Samia. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I'm so happy that you guys are here. Hi, Flower Crochet Creations, aka Tammy. I would love to hear about your near-death experience sometime, Tammy. Like, I really would. If you want to, like, I'll put my email in the description box once this is done being live, and you can totally email me and we can communicate that way. I appreciate, sharing experiences. And thank you, Jane, for saying that this is a gift. It is a gift. I believe that. And I'm so glad that God gave me this gift, because I do feel like it's helped a lot of people heal. In particular, I've found when somebody loses somebody, or somebody is terminal. I have had a lot of terminal clients as an herbalist. It brings them a lot of comfort to hear these stories. So I really appreciate you saying that you're Christian and you believe that God gave us free will. I agree. I don't really label myself as anything, but I definitely would say I'm a person of faith. So thank you, Jane. That makes me feel better about being me. Let's see. You would like to see more specialty crochet stitches and putting, yeah, Sarah, you're right. If I just put everything out there, then they might just kind of gravitate towards one or the other. That's kind of what I've been doing. I don't really have a system for this, as you guys can you can probably tell. I think the biggest goal is to try and help people feel better about themselves, about their lives, about the day. That's why whenever I do any kind of video, at the end, I'm always like, be kind to yourselves and each other. Wash your hands, wear your masks, all that stuff, because, oh, thank you, Jane. I will be myself. That's like literally in the name. Be yourself with Jane. You're right. Thank you. I'm trying. It's just, so like, if you grow up in the whole time that I remember from a very young age not fitting in anywhere. And I was always like really sensitive and shy. And then kids were just mean, they were not nice. And as I got older, I kind of got more comfortable in my skin and I was more myself, and I had a couple of close friends, but I still kind of floated around all the groups. I didn't really fit in anywhere. And so it's hard to like be yourself when you've been picked on for being yourself, when you've been called weird and morbid and creepy for being yourself. It is difficult. So to hear somebody that I love as much as Jane say, be yourself, I really appreciate that, because I do feel like I have a lot to offer. I feel like, the experiences that I've had and the experiences that I continue to have can help people heal in a lot of ways. And so that's what I'm here for. Like, whether I'm doing a crochet video or an herbalism video, or if I'm talking about my spirituality or about my eds, at the end of the day, I just want to let people know that, I'm here and that I care and that you're all so precious and sacred. And I know that if you're like me, you spend a lot of your time alone at home because you're sick or because of the pandemic. And I just don't want anybody to forget that they are so, so precious. I swear, Sarah, you're going to make me cry on camera. Sarah says, you're stronger than you know. You made your first video and now you're doing the lives. Been there. My own mother thought I was crazy, so I accepted it, dumped her negativity, and moved into being myself. Don't make me cry, Sarah. There's people watching. I'm going to end up crying. I do want to say that even though there's a few people who have been like really rude to me, I am overwhelmed, like to the point that it's about to leak out of my face, with the amount of love and support that I have felt from you guys. Like, there are so many wonderful, beautiful people here on YouTube. And I know I met a lot of you guys over on Tracy's page, and I met a lot of you guys on the Triple C show, and I met you guys all over the place. And the thing that I'm finding is a common thread is that kindness is so prevalent in these places. And I love the way that it really is a community, because, when I've posted video, like when I got my spider bite, or if I'm having a rough day and I film and I'm like laying down and I look like I'm half dead, you guys are all so supportive and say that you're praying for me and that you're sending good vibes and that you love me and you want to see me get better. And it's beautiful. It's such a beautiful thing. Like, it's overwhelming. I don't have words for it. It like leaves me speechless, but I will say it's been so good for my mental health, because even before the pandemic, I was very isolated due to my health issues, and having a community that's supportive and loving and, really, you guys really are so sweet, because I've had people in other people's lives ask me how I'm doing after my spider bite. It's so funny to me. Like, I used to just watch videos on YouTube, and like the channels didn't matter, the names didn't matter. I didn't really think of it as a social media platform. But since I've gotten my channel and I've joined in some of these lives, I realized like this is my favorite social media platform, because everybody's so wonderful and nice. And it's just, not everybody, but for the most part, the positive outweighs the negative tremendously. Like, it's immeasurably different and more wonderful than it is, the few icks. It's just that the people that say the things that get to you. So they've been blocked and deleted, though. Let me catch up on this chat. So Jane says, in my time, if someone was mean, we'd say, I'll meet you outside when school is over. I wish I was a Tasmanian devil. Jane, I was kind of the same way, although I went through a scrappy phase in like middle school. I never really fought anybody, but if I ever saw somebody sitting by themselves, I would always go and sit with them. Actually, that's how I met my husband. I will have to make a video about that. But he was by himself, so I went and sat with him, and the rest is history. Oh, Sarah, you're so sweet. See, I learned to defend myself physically and mentally. Was bullied for most of my life. Look at me now, kicking butt and making friends. Heck yeah, you are. I think it's something like, I know there's a lot of anti-bullying campaigns now, but when I was in school, that wasn't a thing. Like, I got bullied and my brother got bullied as well, but like, the kids were just, from elementary school, like from kindergarten onward, I was the cootie girl. If you sat with me, you were a loser. You just weren't allowed to be my friend, like, at all. And I did have one friend that was my neighbor, and she was my friend outside of school, but she wouldn't be my friend in school. And so it was incredibly isolating. Hey, Heart Song Creations, welcome in. So glad you're here. We were just talking a little bit about bullying. You learned karate and taekwondo. We were just talking about putting my daughter in some kind of martial art, because my brother-in-law actually trains as an MMA fighter. And so we're trying to get him to teach her how to destroy her enemies if anybody tries to mess with her, So, oh, thanks, Creative Mommy. It's really good. Like, I was just saying, it's overwhelming how sweet everybody has been and how nice everybody has been, and how supportive. But I did get a couple of, like, the comments that I got that were mean were just so mean. Like, they were just awful. It's like they took everything in a video and then tried to figure out what would hurt me the most and then said those things. So that definitely, it got under my skin a little bit. And so I was a little bit reluctant to like keep doing videos, but you guys have been so encouraging, and my husband has been so encouraging. You're going to go, I'm a pacifist, so I don't believe in letting anybody beat anybody up on my behalf, but if you wanted to have a strong word with them, I would be okay with like a discussion. Yeah, Heart Song, it really is. I mean, it's the people that want to tear you down that put in the work, right? Like, they don't ever just say, oh, you're funny looking or whatever. They're like, what would hurt you to your soul's core? And then they say that thing. And I try to be compassionate to those people and understand that they must be hurting on the inside to have so much hatred in their hearts. But sometimes it's like, stop being a jerk, just like, I don't care what happened to you. It doesn't give you the right to be that much of a, mean person. Yeah, I think, thank you. Yeah, Tammy, I definitely think that, my daughter is already scrappy. She is. So am scared for the people that she encounters. She scares me sometimes. But she's 5. She just turned 5. And I think, like, thinking of some of the things that I've experienced and survived in my life, I don't want her to have to survive those things. I want her to be able to kick somebody's butt if she needs to and to defend herself. So it's a good time right now to, like, teach her when and where she can use violence if needed to protect herself, to defend herself, or defend somebody who's innocent. It's unfortunate, but in this world as a woman, I think we have to have that. I don't have that ability. I mean, I use a wheelchair most of the time, but if I had to, I guess I could probably hit somebody with one of my crutches. I'm usually with my husband, though, so I don't really worry. Yeah, Sarah, it would be good to control some of that scrappiness, because she is a Tasmanian devil. My son is actually the sensitive one. He is about to be 12, you guys. He's going to be 12. And he's mine. He is such a sweetheart. Like, he is so easily wilted, and he's so precious and full of light. But I'm so glad that I homeschooled, because I don't know that he would do that well in public school with his gentle spirit. I just think it would be difficult. But he does go to a program. It's like a once a week program where he gets to go to school with other homeschooled kids one day a week. So that's kind of cool. But I'm really grateful that I have the opportunity to homeschool my kids, because I remember how bad public school was for me. I loved the education part, but the social, it was not good. It was not good for me at all. So I'm going to read this. If I lean in really close, it's because I'm squinting at the text on my screen. It says, your spouse. So Sarah says, my spouse gets me to deal with things he can't put into words. Sarah, I imagine that you're probably pretty scrappy. Like, I picture like a little chihuahua or something coming at people. Like, don't mess with me. Jane, you said, I think you need to make a triple lavender butter and send it to me. Put a lot of good juju in it. I would love to make you a body butter, Jane. Absolutely. Now that you have my phone number, just text me with your address and I'll send it. Like, no problem. I would love to make that for you. And I'll also send in some wood betony tea, which is what I use for headaches. You had bullies growing up, Creative Mommy. So Creative Mommy, what is your, if you don't mind, what is your first name? So I'm not calling you Mommy. I had a lot of bullies growing up, and as a mother, it's really hard not to like want to beat other people's kids, because you see somebody bullying and you just want to smack some sense into them. And I'm not even a violent person, but that sometimes is how I feel. So yeah, I know a lot of us were bullied growing up. I hope that there's nobody here that was the bully growing up. If you were, then I guess we forgive you, but thank you, Lacey. I just felt kind of weird calling you Mommy, because I'm a mom too, and I'm like, yeah. I think it's important to talk about. Like, people don't talk about bullying that much anymore, other than like the campaigns and like the hat not hate thing. Like, it's great that we do all this stuff, but if you're not talking about it to your children in your home, then it's somebody else's problem, right? So I love that we're having this discussion. What Heart Song says, well, yeah, not somebody's kid. Well, I mean, I would never actually hit anybody's kid. I don't even hit my own kids. But, have you ever seen those kids that are out there, and not the ones that are misbehaved or spoiled, like that I can deal with, but the ones that are bullies in the making, and you can see it happening. They're becoming bullies, and, they get away with it. Those are the kids that sometimes I have the urge to knock some sense into. Not that I would never. I don't have it in me. But I do think it's important, like I said, if we're not talking about this in our homes to our children, then it just becomes somebody else's problem. And then they grow up to be the kind of people that troll YouTube and tell me how weird and creepy I am. Like, I know I'm weird and creepy. I'm aware. You don't have to tell me this. I'm okay with it. I have accepted my weird creepiness. It's part of my charm. Yeah, Lacey, it is like it. You got a sensitive one too. My son is the best way to describe him. I think is like a flower because he just wilts so easy, and so I'm really grateful because I do homeschool, and we don't have to worry about the same issues as like in public schooling with the bullying and all that. And he's had a chance to really forge his own personality without the influence of trying to be cool. So he's very eccentric, but he's definitely a really sweet, really shy kid. So the idea of sending him to public school, he did go for like 2 years, and then he got a bad teacher, and the school wouldn't change his class, and I just decided at that point we were going to homeschool. So you want to smack other people's kids? Oh, wow, 6 feet and 15. My son's going to be 12. I'm so like not ready for that. I thought when he turned 10, I cried a little bit because I was a mom for a decade, but like 12, it's his last year before he's a teenager. I'm not ready. You used to smack your girl sometimes. I mean, when I was a kid, that was the preferred method, I think, of dealing with sassiness. But yeah, I will say this. I did when my kids were really little, like 2, 3 years old. If they were doing something dangerous, I'd smack them on the butt. But neither one of them fears me now. I jokingly say to them, "Come here so I can beat you," and they both come running and giggling, like they know it's not going to happen. So he used to hang out with younger kids when he was in grade 5 because the other kids were rude. I know my brother was like that too, Lacey. He would hang out with me and my friends. So he was like 18 months older than me. And he got held back, I think it was 7th grade. And so he ended up becoming friends with a lot of my friends and, just kind of hanging out in our group because the older kids and the kids his age were into things he wasn't into, and they were just not nice. He was very much into science and like engineering. He used to take VCRs apart. For those of you who can remember what a VCR is, he used to take those apart for fun. And so he always hung out with younger kids. It seems like younger kids think you're cool whether you're cool or not because you're older. But you were like the Incredible Hulk, Jane. I believe it. I believe it. You are feisty, Jane. I could believe it. I mean, I think in my entire life I've been in maybe 2 fights. That's it. And over stupid things. You still have a VCR? I think I have one in the garage, honestly. Okay, so speaking of VCRs, we're going to go way back in time. Did anybody ever see that movie Back in Me? It's like about an alien. It's sort of like E.T., except the less popular one. Because I saw that. I saw a VHS of that at like on a yard sale page the other day. And I got to tell you, when I was from like the ages of, I want to say 4 until I was like 12, that was my favorite movie. I was obsessed. Oh, that's awesome, Lacey. What's his YouTube channel? You're more than welcome to share. Oh, actually, I don't know if you can share it here. I don't know how to make it so you can share it. I would love to know what his channel is called. There. Lacey is my first moderator so that you can share your son's drop a link, girl. I'll support him. I'll support your boy. You still have a VCR? Yeah, Back in Me, right? It was amazing. I was obsessed with that movie. Like, literally obsessed with that movie. I would watch it. So, I don't know if you... Okay, more aging myself. My dad used to take us to the Albertsons, and we used to go to the video section. And every week, he would let us both pick one movie. Me and my brother. We both picked one movie. And I kid you not, every week for at least a year, it was Mac and Me. And I forced my brother and my dad to watch it with me. I love that movie. I haven't seen it in such a long time. I'm going to have to force my husband to watch it. Thanks, Creative Mommy. So anybody that wants to support Lacey's son and his video games, click that link and like and subscribe because he deserves it. Oh, it's not letting me open it right now, but I'll... Oh no, the chat disappeared, you guys. There we go. You're back. Okay. So, yeah, Mac and Me. So, if you guys have seen E.T., Mac and Me is like a similar storyline. There's like an alien, and he becomes friends with an Earthling, and they have a lot of wild adventures. So it's similar, but for some reason, when I was a kid, E.T. scared the crap out of me, and I loved Mac and Me. I don't. It's like the same, but see, Lacey, you get it. Like it's a cute movie. I always thought he looked like he was made out of silly putty. Thank you, Sarah, for supporting Lacey's son. That's awesome. I will. So it's not letting me click a link because I'm the one doing the live, but I will go check it out when we're done here. Whenever that. Oh wow, I've already been on like 50 minutes, you guys. This is the longest live I've ever done. Yeah, it's very similar to ET, but better in my opinion. In my opinion, I don't know why. Maybe it was the Barrymore name. I don't understand why E.T. became like this big blockbuster and Mac and Me was just kind of like this background movie. Oh, I'm so happy he's smiling, Lacey. Like that's absolutely what we're here for. Like I want to support who I can, and I just recently started playing video games myself. I always thought they were a waste of time, but when I got sick, I found like, oh my gosh, it's so nice to be able to exist in another world inside your computer for a little while. You would have been scared of E.T. if your older sister hadn't have been there. Yeah, you know what movie scared me really bad when I was a kid? My dad took us to see it in the theaters, and so I like ruined the experience for him, but it was Jurassic Park. I was not old enough for that movie. Almost ripped his arm off. Oh, that's awesome, Sarah. Thank you so much for doing that. That's wonderful. I love that we can support each other that way. Like, it really is a community, and I'm finding that there's some corners of the YouTube that I don't go into, but I absolutely love, the people that I found in other groups and my subscribers. Like, you guys are all so nice. You were in 5th grade when Jurassic Park came out? I don't even remember what year that movie came out. I was not in 5th grade. I was younger than that. So, I think it might have been like 2nd grade. But I still don't feel like I'm old enough for that movie. I scare so easy. Like, it's not even funny. Like, I don't do scary movies because I scare myself frequently enough that I don't need the thrill. 94. Oh my gosh. I shouldn't have asked. I mean, nothing makes you feel older than thinking about the 90s, right? Yeah, I think that's right. 94 sounds right. All right, so that was, movies in the 90s. Let's talk about some more pop culture. Who watched Charmed? Or Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Do you guys remember when there was like this, it was like a trend in the 90s when there were all these supernatural shows came on. It was all like Medium and Charmed and Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel and all those shows came on. You weren't allowed to watch Buffy. I understand that. I actually was not really that into Buffy. I loved Charmed. I didn't really watch Medium that much. I think that might have been a little bit later, actually, come to think of it. But I had friends that weren't allowed to watch Buffy for, religious reasons. I do think that it's a fun show. And if you can, you have to set your own limits, obviously. If there's some stuff that you don't want to consume, you don't have to watch it. But I did find it interesting that there was like this period in the 90s where all of the shows seemed to be themed about supernatural. There was like a teenage werewolf show. Like they were all kind of Halloween-y shows. Yeah, Buffy was a good show. I just I was much more into like Charmed than Buffy. Jurassic Park was the first movie your husband took you to watch? Aw. Yeah, that's not really romantic. Maybe he thought you would get scared and want to snuggle with him. You did see a little bit of it in the end because your hubby would have it on when you were at his house. Oh. mischievous. No, it is a good show. Like, as an adult, I've watched it a couple of times and I like it. I was really into. Oh, it would be good to learn English, especially. I mean, anything with Jeff Goldblum. I think the way he talks is really easy to understand. But yeah, I had a friend who, in high school, she was only allowed to watch whatever was on PBS. And even that was screened by her parents. And so I do understand, like, there's a lot of sheltering that goes on in childhood. In this house, like, I do, like, there's a lot that I don't let my kids watch, but we do read, like, Harry Potter and stuff because, like I say, I'm kind of weird and creepy, so it doesn't bother me to have my kids read that. They understand the difference between fiction and reality. But I also, even though I'm a person of faith, I'm not a religious person. So I don't go to a church and have the same rules. But I do absolutely respect and appreciate that there are parents out there that care enough to screen what their children watch. Because I will tell you that I saw some things as a kid that I shouldn't have seen when I saw them. And I wish that I had had somebody to protect me from those things. So, Heart Song, thank you so much for protecting, or thank your parents so much for protecting you from things that they thought might do you harm, right? I do think some people go a little overboard. Like, I had another friend in high school that was never allowed to wear pants. And I get it, like, I get it, but oh my gosh. She had to run track in a skirt like that. That was hard. That was hard. So you have actually. Oh, you thank them for protecting. Yeah, because there's a lot of, like, there's stuff that as an adult I've discovered in this world that I'm like, wow, that's like, I really would have liked to have been protected from some of those things. Like, I remember watching scary movies that were not appropriate for the age that I was, freely. And even some of the stuff that my dad would just watch on TV was, like, horrifying to me. So I don't know, like, I love murder documentaries, like Murder Maps and, things on Investigation Discovery. But if my kids even come into the room, I pause that. I don't even let them hear the show that I'm watching when it's something like that. And I definitely think that it's admirable when parents care enough to, like, screen the media that their children are consuming, because there's so many people that I think just let their kids run wild on the internet, and that scares me. That scares me. Yeah, there are some things that scare me because movies when I was a kid scared me. There's things that I don't do. I can't stand walking past, like, an open door at night because of movies that I saw when I was a kid. Yeah, I don't let my kids. The scariest thing my kids have ever seen is The Nightmare Before Christmas. So, yeah, Jane, that's how I was too. You turned out more than okay. I watched scary movies, like, way before I should have. It was, yeah. Well, I'm not scared of clowns necessarily. I just don't really like them. I don't know. They're kind of, like, I wouldn't say creepy. I didn't really watch any of those scary clown movies. I just think that I don't like any time that you can't see who somebody is. Oh, yeah, Little Shop of Horrors. I was also afraid of the bathroom for a long time after that movie. Yeah, see, that's something that, like, as a child you shouldn't have seen, but as an adult you can watch it and be like, it's amazing. One of those other experiences that I had is, like, when you watch something as a child and you don't realize how offensive it is until you're an adult. We do family movie night, and one of the kids picked Peter Pan, and we watched it. And oh my goodness, inappropriate. Like, there's some parts of that are just downright racist. It was horrible. So now I have to make sure I'm, like, screened. Because I thought Disney, Peter Pan, that's safe. And I had to explain to my children, like, that's not okay. For those of you who don't know there or haven't seen it in a long time, there is some really offensive content in Peter Pan. So yeah, Heart Song, Peter Pan, they have this part where Peter Pan is talking to the Native Americans, and there's actually even a song, and it's so offensive because what makes the red man red is what it's called, and like they sing that, and there's just all these stereotypes about Native Americans. It's so bad. It is so bad. And I have a lot of Native American friends, and like I remember watching that and being heartbroken at the idea of, like, if you're a child, right, and you're Native and you see that movie and that's the way that they're portraying you, like, oh my goodness, it's heartbreaking. So now I always screen it. You wanted to watch Chucky when you were little? That movie scared me for life. I'm still scared of redheaded dolls. Like, oh my gosh, I can't do it. Those movies are terrifying to me. Dolls are evil. I don't think dolls are evil. We have a lot of them in our house, but redheaded dolls, I can't do. Yeah. So, yeah, Heart Song. What is your name? Like your first name, if you don't mind. I could just call you Heart Song, but yeah, that song is like really offensive. That's in Peter Pan. I guess there's some offensive content in like Dumbo and stuff too that I don't remember because it's been so long since I watched it. So we probably won't be watching that either. But we did watch Lady and the Tramp a couple weeks ago, and there was a little bit of that as well. But it wasn't quite as cringeworthy, I guess, as Peter Pan was. Heather. Oh, that's a beautiful name. Thank you, Heather. Now I can call you by your name. You saw seeing ads for the doll before the movie. Oh my goodness. That would have been kind of funny though if you'd gotten the doll because you hadn't seen the movie, and then you would be like, why are all my friends afraid of my doll? I don't understand why my friends are terrified of my toy. No, you're right, Sarah. I do know that in the time that it was made, it was more culturally appropriate, and I know that we have learned a lot since then, and it wasn't meant to be offensive. And yeah, like you're right, I didn't understand that it was offensive at all until I was an adult. Like I had no idea that Peter Pan was offensive. But I think that's part of the problem, because when you're a child, you're so impressionable. And so if that is, if you're a child and you haven't had any exposure to Native American culture or Native American people, and you see that, and that's the imagery you have in your mind about Native American people, it can be very harmful. So I do think, we did watch it, and then afterwards I talked to my kids about why it was offensive and what we can learn from it. I think stuff like that from a simpler time can be a really powerful teaching tool as far as like what not to do. Because yeah, I was shocked. I forgot that was in there. It was crazy. But yeah, your mom said something once after the ad played, and you wanted one. Oh yeah, not that doll. Not that doll. Definitely not that doll. I can't watch those movies as an adult. Those movies are horrifying. They're so scary. Yeah. Oh no, that was her first scary movie, Jane. The Grudge. That movie was also terrifying. They're like scary in different ways too, and for different reasons. It's like a very primal fear. I don't watch scary movies because I scare so easy, but like when I have in the past, sometimes they're supposed to be scary and they just aren't. And then there's other times where I watch like the first 5 minutes of a movie and I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not watching this movie. I don't have the heart for it. I'm like way too easily scared. All right, so we talked about movies, horror movies. We talked about shows in the 90s. What was everybody's favorite band in the 90s? I'll tell you mine. Mine was the Smashing Pumpkins, actually. I was in love with Billy Corgan. Oh my god, I was obsessed. Right, so I used to like hide behind a pillow anytime that I would watch a scary movie. I would always hide from the movie. Oh my gosh, Jane, that's so mean. You've never heard of The Grudge? I don't recommend it. Unless you really like to be terrified, I don't recommend it. Um, oh my god, I love Enrique. Yes, he's a great musician. Matchbox 20, I went through a Matchbox 20 phase where I thought Rob Thomas was super hot, but I don't know. It didn't last very long because I heard that he wasn't a very nice person. But his music is good. I used to be afraid Sarah would like to sleep with my arm or my leg hanging off the bed, or like to put my feet down if there was a space underneath the couch. I totally get it. Backstreet Boys. Yeah, I liked Hanson and the Backstreet Boys. I also really liked NSYNC and Boyz II Men. I really like I still like Boyz II Men. And Christina Aguilera, although that was a little bit later in the 90s. Or was it? I can't remember when her first album came out. But yeah, all those boy bands. That was really... Yeah, Hanson is cute. Looking back now, if I watch Hanson now, I find it very endearing. I think the Jonas Brothers are supposed to be like the new Hanson or whatever. You still have an NSYNC CD? That's awesome. I remember the album cover. It was like them on stage and they all had strings because they were marionettes. Spice Girls, yes. Isaac So Yum. Oh my goodness. How fun. Like, it's been a while since I thought about any of this stuff. Do you guys remember, what are those things called? They're like a keychain, little electronic, pets. What are they called? Tamagotchis? Gigapets? Right? Did you guys ever have those? I used to have one and I was terrible at taking care of it. I agree, Jane. I haven't heard very much good music in a long time. But I think that's how our parents felt about our music and their parents felt about their music. That's like a rite of passage, is when you start hearing music on the radio and like, what the heck is this? Your sister had a Tamagotchi. They're so cool. Like, I mean, they're actually, now they have them online. They're coming back. They're like a thing again. I had a Tamagotchi and I had a pocket Game Boy. And then I remember also when the original iPod came out, I had one of those. Yeah, some archaic technology. Isn't it incredible how far we've come? Like from Tamagotchis to having like a supercomputer in your pocket. It's insane. Okay. Oh wow, I've been up for an hour, you guys. You had a game. What's a Game Gear? Is that like a knockoff? I had a lot of knockoff stuff too. No shame in it. That would be obnoxious. Sega. We actually just got Amazon has a gaming platform called Luna, and they have Sonic the Hedgehog on there, Sarah. It's amazing. I don't play that game, but my husband is obsessed. Oh, excuse me. I'm going to text my son while you guys are talk amongst yourselves. I guess that was him calling. He was trying to call and say goodnight. So I'll just call him back in a minute. Okay. You had Game Boy. There are a lot of curse words in the music nowadays, Jane. I agree. I do love Lady Gaga and Adele and Pink. I do think that there are a lot of really creative musicians out there. It's just a matter of like sifting, because they're not on the radio. They're definitely not on the radio. Used to play Sonic on the Game Gear all the time, but could never. Oh my gosh, you couldn't save the game? That would be so frustrating. Like, you have to start over every single time? I probably would have played it once. I don't have the patience for that sort of thing. You know what, Sarah, I am really into like Brazilian jazz. I don't know. They have some great jazz. Sorry. Just trying to remember that I have a pillow behind me. Oh, now we're shaking. Sorry, guys. Um yeah, I used to play. We had, let's see, what game systems? We had a PlayStation 2, Super Nintendo, the original Nintendo. My brother had like all the gaming systems when we were kids, and he used to bribe me to play video games with him because I've never really been that into them. But now, K-pop. K-pop is fun. I like it. Um, you have jazz hands. I love jazz that's in like Portuguese, and I don't know, it's pretty. It's so pretty. Um, he still has his Super Nintendo. That's crazy. I think my brother still has ours from when we were kids. I'm pretty sure. I think he still has it. That's so fun. Yes, PlayStation 1, like the Atari. I didn't have an Atari. My dad, I think, had an Atari, but we did not. I don't know what ever happened to it. It would have been a cool thing to like keep a hold of. But now you can play anything on your TV or like on your phone. And so kids will never know the struggle of having to go to the game shop to buy a game, you know? Well, my lovely, beloved friends, I need to go so I can call my son and say goodnight to him. But this is awesome. I'm so happy that I did this because the one comment that had gotten to me earlier has completely like been overtaken by all of this amazing love and wonderful conversation that we're having. Um, if you guys don't mind, when I get off of here and like you can put comments to let me know like a good day and time to do lives, when would work for you? Like, do you like weekend lives or during the week? Because again, I'm trying to figure out some stuff, and I think, you know, like you guys said, I should just put everything out there and see what sticks. But oh, with a rechargeable battery pack, heart song, that's amazing. That is, I remember having to save up for things like that. I do remember I used to always spend my allowance on Game Boy games for my Nintendo. Like, that was all I ever wanted to buy. That and Magic the Gathering cards, but that was it. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to go because my son is at his dad's house, and I definitely want to call and say goodnight to him before he falls asleep. And I will maybe do another one of these tomorrow. I'm not sure. It just depends on how I feel. But thank you guys so much for coming and like hanging out and keeping me company. And yeah, this has been a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much. Don't forget, you are all sacred, beloved, precious beings that I cherish more than words. And to drink water, wash your hands, wear your masks, and most of all, be kind. Be kind, be kind. Have a good night, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.